Let's talk about the designed grid click. So now we're really starting to get cooking. We nearly have all the materials in order to make a click that has flow and that provides us and our participants the necessary information with a visual measure count and audible click. So let's get into the creation of complex clicks with tempo and meter changes. These are the designed grid and the adaptive clicks, as we've already seen last week. Designed and adaptive clicks each require video with audio capture that allows us to create projects that are more complex and mirror the proper musical flow that we want in real performance. By creating measure counter videos that go with more complex clicks with tempo ebb and flow, we can keep our participants in line, allow them to know where they are in the piece, because measure numbers and their corresponding tempo and meter changes matter. Our next assignment is to create a few measures of designed grid click. You'll select a few measures of any piece of your choice that has a meter or tempo change in it. You'll design that grid into your DAW and then create a visual measure counter. I'll select my own piece, but you can follow along with these steps with your own and pause as you go. Okay, design grids involve putting in tempo changes and meter changes into your DAW so that they're reflected in your click as well. So let's go through a few things and then we can get started. I open up Logic, which is my DAW. I create a new project. Okay. I see that we start in 120 BPM and 4/4 time up here. I can move my playhead around by clicking on the ruler or double clicking and putting in the measure number that I want. Let's open up a list view, and I see that we have tempo and signature tabs up here. So let's say in measure 1, we want to start at 80 beats per minute. Then at measure 3, click, and I add a plus. Then I double click and I change it to 160 at measure 3. Let's navigate to measure 4 using the double click method. I double click up here in the measure counter and I put in a 4 and enter. That moves my playhead to measure 4. Let's add another tempo change of 2000. No, it only goes up to 990. Fantastic. It is extreme. All right, we have an extreme tempo change. And let's decide we want to change some time signatures as well. We go over to the signature tab over here. And let's go to measure 1. We're going to start in 2/4 time. Fantastic. At measure 2. Now, if it's hard to pull around, I usually go up here anyway and go 2, enter. Let's change to 3/4 time. Okay. In measure 4, let's change to 9/4 time. Fantastic. We also have this drop down over here so we can see the tempo graph and the various signature changes as they happen. Let's hear how a 990 BPM sounds. We turn on the metronome over here and we play back. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Insanity. All right, that's far too fast to play. All right, so great. Now we know how to change tempos in a simple way and how to put in time signature changes as well. My example is going to have an accelerando. You could use a similar technique to do a retardando, but I'll show you how to do that when we get into it, which is now. Fantastic. Let's get rid of all those tempo changes and time signature changes. And we're all familiar with The Hall of the Mountain King by Grieg. It is a steady and extreme acceleration. And let's just do 4 measures of it. So let's do a tempo operation that's going to allow us to do a tempo curve. We go up here to the tempo tab and over here to options. We choose tempo operations and that opens up a window. Let's say from measure 1 to measure 5, we are accelerating from 75 BPM to 160. We're going to change the density of those tempo changes to be every 30-second note to make a nice smooth curve, and we're going to continue on at that tempo. We go apply, and that populates our tempo list with tempo changes every 30-second notes. Every 30-second note. All right. Let's hear how it sounds and sing along. All right, fantastic. Now let's fool around with the time signatures. Let's pretend that Grieg wanted to do something really weird with his time signatures and decide he wants so we have a measure of 4/4. Then in measure 2, we have 2 measures of 3/4. We go to measure 4 and move back to 4/4. All right, fantastic. Now, I always like to start a click from measure 0. So there's one measure of prep. So let's pull back our workspace. We go up here till we have that square bracket, and then we can drag back our workspace. Wonderful. Let's save this because we're ready to do our video recording. All right, fantastic. So we open up Jack Pilot and we start it. Great. We start the Jack server. Hopefully this works. I hope it does. I hope it does. Oh, I don't think it's working. Sometimes this happens. That's fine. All right, let's quit out of Logic because perhaps it was thinking that Logic was doing something that it wasn't. Let's open up Logic first. We open up Logic and we open up our project. And let's change our audio device to be Jackrouter, which isn't in here because we haven't started it yet. All right. Sorry, I got confused. Let's start Jack and Jack Pilot. Fantastic. Let's start it. Yes. We start the Jack server. Wonderful. It is working. We open up the router window, and we don't have any connections to make because our programs aren't open yet. So let's open up Logic Pro now. Donovan. All right. And we go to our preferences, go audio, and change it to Jackrouter. Apply. Wonderful. Now when we bring this down and bring it back up, we have Logic Pro. Amazing. And let's open up our project, DesignedGrid. Let's also open up OBS, which is our video capture unit. All right, we have OBS open. Let's give ourselves a little bit of real estate to work with over here. Okay, let's draw a connection between Logic and OBS. We go, the output of Logic 1 goes to the input of OBS 1. And out 2 goes to in 2. By double clicking, we make the connection. You can see when I select out 1, input 1 is selected. Wonderful. So now when we play back, and actually let's do this from scratch. We'll make another one, OBS tutorial 2, just in case you missed the last video. We create a new scene. We add to that scene Jack input client. If it's existing, you can use it. That's totally fine. Okay, so here we can expect when we play back in Logic, our click signal to come in, and it is. You can see it right there. That's great. Now we also want the visual measure counter. So let's create a big beats window. And we stretch it. And let's create a display capture. Remember to, let's create a new one. We go, okay. Oh, it's trying to go from my other display. Let's go to the display that I want. And then we're going to manually crop it down. $800. Sure, great. 50. Awesome. Great. 900. Oh, need a little bit more. 1,000. Good, that works. If you get close and you don't want to deal with any more of these numbers, you can always move over here and stretch this around to the proper capture location. We go OK. Make sure that you center this and make it nice and big. And then also to transition, because OBS is going to record what's in the program, not what's in the preview. We're ready to record. All right. Sorry, I'm just going to bring this a little bit down. Let's move our playhead to measure 0. Okay, and I think we're ready. I'm going to start the recording, start playback, and then we'll let it play out. Let's do it. Start recording, start playback. 2, 3, 4. Bum 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 bum. Great. Stop the recording. In settings in OBS, I go to output, recording, and I see, oh, it came out on my desktop somewhere. Let's look for it. I think I found it. I'm bringing it over here. And let's play it back. You start the click. Dun, 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 dun. Fantastic. And we've only got our click to here. This mirrors the tempo change and the measure numbers that we have designed in. It stops at measure 6, which is where I stop the recording or the playback. Fantastic. So those are the steps you need to create your little DesignedGrid click. Try to use some adventurous time signatures and some extreme tempo changes if you like. And fantastic. From here, I would usually create a greeting video for my players. I would greet them. I would tell them to start their audio and video recorders. I would get them to clap with me. 3, 2, 1. Right? And wish them luck. Fantastic. I would take that video, bring it into DaVinci, bring in our measure count video right next to it, render it out as a single file, and then send it off to my players. When I get videos back from my players, I can line up their claps in DaVinci, either from the audio spike or when I see their hands coming together, line them all up. They should all play together. And you can then doctor your mosaic however you want it visually to look. You can move things around as you like, and then you have your ensemble videos based on a designed click. Our next step is adaptive click, which is for the next lesson. Thanks so much.